I'm from the
Same place as trap music, this that first react music. They can't hold me back, I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch.
Happy Sunday, and welcome back to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live, where we define, examine, and analyze words, sayings, and phrases used in American culture. And tonight, we will be smoking on wisdom. So grab your thinking caps and get ready to smoke on words with two big nerds, myself, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God, Ali, Dawood L, and BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God. How you feeling?
Peace, God. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, man. I feel productive. I feel a little worn out, but that's part of the productivity, right? Like you got to get to your rest day so that you can recover and be better the next day, right? So I'm here for it, man. I'm in it to win it. How about you?
Ain't it, man? You know, God, always blessed to see another day, to have breath, like you said. Getting that rest, and you know, so you can try to be in it to win it, doing what you can and get stuff done. Man, just being thankful as always, and realizing something new, realizing that you could actually not do anything to a person, to individuals, and they would absolutely want the same experience that you may have had with somebody else that wasn't as positive, instead of trying to have a new positive experience.
Lazy.
You know,
that's what we always talk about, right? That's the lazy factor, right? Because instead of getting to know you, instead of actually getting to know you and actually getting to create their own understanding, their own experience, they would rather go by what they know of you, by what they heard from somebody else that they actually value,
yeah,
more than they value themselves, right? Because they got their own eyes, their own brain, they got their own ears, right? They got their own hands, so they can actually experience you for themselves and develop an actual thought of what they feel. But that's way too much work when they can just really just listen to what my man told me about you. And it's like, oh, okay, that's how that dude is. All right, so when I approach him, I need to approach him on his left because he's weak on his left. Because that's what my man said the whole time. You holding on your left heavy. You know what I'm
saying? We shoot from the hip, you know, kind of like a straight shooter.
You know, God. That's why I say lazy. It all comes back to laziness, right? Like people don't want to do the work that's necessary to actually be productive and successful.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's brain boggling. It is brain boggling for real. But you know, something for everybody else's brain to be boggled and actually get some real nourishment. Head on over to www.bksoulfarm.com and pick up your copy of 1016 160 Self-Sustainability by that brother right there, the guy Ali Dawood L and BK Soul Farm. Link is in the description. And also, y'all, don't forget to subscribe to DBCHEFTV on YouTube and put your name in a hat for our every third Sunday $100 giveaway. All right. We want to thank you and show you some love for showing us some love, rocking with us over here at DBCHEFTV. Also, link is in the description. And let's get into tonight's smoke, y'all. We got wisdom. So, oh, you know what? I forgot to say. We got DBCHEFTV merch and we got BK Soul Farm merch too. Links in the description. And like we always say, if money's tight, it's all right. They can do something free and we still gonna love them if they do what, God?
They'll smash that like. That's all you got to do.
smash the like button. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all for that. Let's get to this smoke. We got wisdom, y'all, and we got 5 questions for today. We got, what do you think of when you hear the word wisdom? That is our house question. Let us know in the chat or in the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. What role does wisdom play in choosing friends, partners, and relationships? Third, how do you tell the difference between wisdom and something that sounds good? Fourth, can a negative experience teach more wisdom than a positive one? And fifth and final, last but never least, is the word wisdom bad, good, or misunderstood? And you know what you got to do. You got to stick around to the end of the show for the cigar panel to let y'all know. And we want to know too from you all. So let us know, like we always say, in the live chat or in the comment section below. And we're gonna put the link up, y'all, so that way if you want to join in the conversation, the link will be pinned right there in the chat. So you can just hit that link and come on up and talk to us. We want to know and exchange insights and get your perspectives. So let's get to our first question. What do you think of when you hear the word wisdom? The God Ali Dawoodel at BK Soul Farm.
Peace, God.
Peace, God.
So the very first thing I think of when I hear wisdom is a very older person, gray hair, that done lived a lot of life and had a lot of experiences and cognizant of who they were during their times and can tell a story, right? And tell you the bumps on the road that they went through, the hurdles that they had to overcome, all their successes, their wins, all their good moves, things that they did that was smart, right? The people that they didn't listen to and why. Like just I think of an older person that
How old? How older? How much older?
I'm thinking grandpa,
Grandpa.
grandma, somebody that don't have to work no more. That has enough time that
okay. I mean, I'm 52. I got a half a century on earth. I got gray hairs. I'm not a grandma or grandpa, but I don't, but do they not have I still have to work though.
Hey guy, I am a grandpa, I'm over. I still have to work for right now. Right. But I'm working, I'm almost there, right? But I think about that type, somebody that has time to sit on a porch or take time throughout their day or throughout their week to observe what's going on and can actually reflect and tell you something about themselves, yourselves, or something positive or something to watch out for. Even something to watch out for is still positive.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's the first thing I think of. I think of a worldly older person.
Okay.
Right. And we were qualified because we are both worldly.
I mean, I got 30 countries. I got 30 countries stepped on soul.
You know what I mean? Like what I also think about wisdom being the result of knowledge. Right. And what I mean by that is what was learned or what I wrote down, or what needs to be remembered. Right. So you got information and that's just stuff. Right. Knowledge you can look at it as stuff that you can use. Right. And wisdom is the result of the lesson that you learn from using that thing. Right. What do you need to improve? How do you make it better? Is it passed downable? Is it duplicatable? Not duplicatable, but repeatable.
Repeatable.
Right. By others. Right. How useful is this thing to others? Right. That's what I think of. I think it's the result of knowledge.
How useful is this information to others? or
Yeah.
that thing or whatever it is.
Yeah. Whatever yeah. Right. And you only get that by having information, applying it, gathering the knowledge, right? Because to me, you only get knowledge by the things you experience. And to my knowledge, we only experience through our senses for the most part, right? I guess, you can argue other ways, but I can concretely say we all got five senses for the most. I mean, unless you just don't. But most humans we can all say we got that. And then what you learn from that knowledge and that you can pass on is the actual, to me, the wisdom.
So right. It would be, so just for an example, rocking what you got, we rocking with it. First question right now, y'all, what do you think of the word wisdom? When you hear the word wisdom? So the knowledge, the wisdom being what came from it. So it's like, if I read like a policy, right? And I understood the policy, and then I showed somebody that like, this is the policy, kind of like the UCMJ, right? UCMJ is a policy in the military. Everybody got to go by Uniform Code of Military Justice. So if it's like, if it says we can't do this as soldiers, we can't do this as sailors, we can't do this as armed forces service members, and I get that pass down, I give a training on that, or I just pull somebody to the side and say, hey, you see what you're doing right here? It's against the rules. Is that very similar to that knowledge being transferred to share as wisdom to the younger person who may not understand that what they're doing may cost them their career?
I think so. But for me,
or get in trouble.
Yeah, no, that's definitely that. But the simplest way that as you were saying that, the thought that popped into my head was riding a bike. Right.
Okay, riding a bike too. Okay.
When the beginning stages of riding a bike is you see somebody on a bike. Right. That's your information. Like, oh shit. Oh shoot. We can do that. We can pop wheelies and stuff. Right. Like that's the beginning stages. That's the information. The actual knowledge gathering is actually learning how to ride a bike.
Okay.
Right. And the wisdom is that once you learn how to ride a bike, you actually never ever forget. Right. And you can actually tell somebody that to pass that on. So when you see somebody else or somebody else sees you on your bicycle and they want to learn how to ride a bike and do all the cool things you want to do that you know how to do, you can actually properly inform them that it's going to take some work. It's going to take some time. We're different, right? Our capabilities are different. So you might pick it up faster than I did. But I can promise, once you learn how to ride a bike, you will never ever forget. No matter how, no matter if you learn how to ride a bike today and don't ride a bike again for another 20 years, when you get on that bike, you will know how to ride a bike.
Yeah, you can't pop wheelies no more though.
You can't pop a wheelies. You might kill yourself.
Yeah, you can't pop wheelies no more. And jump off the curb and ride on the pegs and all that stuff and do endos and I used to ride bicycles.
I used to ride bicycles. But you don't have to walk. Right. And that's the thing.
Of course not.
You can actually learn. So that's how I look at the wisdom, right? As the information. I see somebody on a bike, I actually learn how to ride a bike. And the fact that I'm never gonna ever forget how to ride a bike is almost impossible.
I think that happens too with repetition when you're following the rules too, because you learn 100%. The rules and then you follow them because you're practicing. I think that I think that's what's up though. But go ahead, God, you got
that was it. That was
the elders. You got the result of knowledge. So y'all let us know what y'all think in the comments and smash that like button too. Right now we are answering our first question. What do you think of when you hear the word wisdom? Man, when I think of wisdom, when I hear wisdom, when I hear the word wisdom, you know, I always have to go back to growing up and being disciplined when I would do things that were wrong. And very often elders would say, you know, why would you do that? That ain't wise, you know? And you know, that's not a wise choice. I know you know better than that. So they always correlate it to knowing something, to that action, you know, and that's really what I refer to it. That's really how when I think about it, I think about the wisdom, and you know, what did I do to get to it? It is the result of, it's not the complete understanding, but it is that work in between to get to the understanding, to be like, okay, I know how to ride a bike now, or I know that was wrong, or I know that was right, or I know that I need some work to do so I can get to a right or a wrong or a better. And that's what that wisdom is. I think when I hear that, I think of learning from, you know, I would say your learning lesson in action. It's the action of your learning lesson, because when you're going through it, that's when you're learning all of the things necessary to get through it. So yeah, that's what I get, God. I get the learning lesson, and I get the actions on the way to whatever the goal is, or whatever the conclusion or the end result. Like all of that work in between.
So far, I'm listening to it, and I'm like, the lazy folks do not like wisdom. Like, based on what we think it is anyway.
Yeah, you know, it's our meaning. Like we always say, we don't know until we go to the definition.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to myself. I'm like, man, like everything we kind of saying, like it takes a lot. Like, because everything you saying, like you got to be cognizant that you're actually doing an action. Why are you doing an action? The intent behind why you're doing this thing, like your overall goal. Like, this is a whole lot of thinking involved to make sure that it's right, and which is only natural and normal if you want to actually succeed. You actually
Not really. Remember we was talking about, remember how we became the weirdos?
Yeah, that's right. It's not normal.
We are the weirdos because we don't antagonize. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want the same experience. If I thought you had a negative experience with somebody, I wouldn't want that experience with you
At all.
You know what I'm saying?
At
That
all.
wouldn't mean that I would come to you in fear. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't want that experience with you. I would not try to invoke that or provoke that. You know, God, like I wouldn't. Like, for what? You know, if it's just the type of person I am, like, I mind my business, I leave people alone, right? Like,
thanks.
right. But if I want a problem with you, though, I'm from the school where I'm gonna walk up to you and say, hey, I got a problem with you, or hey, you know, can we talk? Because I want to talk to you. I just want to have a conversation with you. You know, like, I'm not a band, you know. So like, I'm nobody's ninja, you know, I'm nobody's real ninja, I'm nobody's fake ninja, I'm nobody's street ninja, and I'm definitely nobody's BA ninja. You know what I'm saying? I ain't none of that. I'm a man. And a man ain't no coward, you know? And I see people I wonder where the wisdom is, because I see people doing cowardly stuff and encouraging their children to do cowardly stuff too. Like that's what's wild to me. It's like, you know, like where is the wisdom of, but like you just said, God, like that's too much work. It's easy for me to believe somebody else, right? And not do no thinking for myself, you know, and just go with that. And then if that gets you the same result, then what? Then you believe them? But you brought the same BS that they brought to have the interaction. You didn't even come with no kindness, with no, you know what I'm saying? You didn't even say, you know what?
Oh man, God, you just said,
like, that's crazy.
You just said, you know, they don't want to do no thinking for themselves. What I'm supposed to do, believe them. Yo, thinking and believing are the same exact things. They just making a choice.
They just making a choice
to do one and not the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they really need to do instead of thinking is actually observe, right?
Is actually
like do the work. Like forget about the thinking. Like actually use the tools, right? And let the brain process what they see and what they hear.
The problem is, in those situations, people ain't see and hear nothing. They just going off of somebody's word.
Correct.
And everything that they've seen or may have seen doesn't add up to that. So it's like, so then that's stupid. Why would you want to try to, you know, why would you want to try to get that? But that's why I said, like, people do this right now. Wisdom is at an all-time low because people will do sucker-ish and try to make your reaction the problem.
Yeah.
You know, and not hold themselves accountable for their initial wrong. You know, and that's horrible. That, you know, it's horrible that now you have to be a weirdo for pointing out like you was wrong in the first place. You know,
you literally got to stoop to their level.
Right, and then you stoop to their level.
Like
now they evicted.
Like you literally got to stoop to their level just so they can, so you can make them understand that they was wrong and now they're a victim.
So you will show a person, you would say, okay, well, you've been wrong. All right. So let me make myself wrong too. All right. Let me make myself wrong too. Even accidentally. All right. Because now this is wisdom. Okay, well, maybe I don't know why this happened, but in thinking about, you know better, right? Maybe this happened because now I'm wrong too, but let me show you how but now let me exemplify that I can correct the wrong. But you can do that. And then some people, they show you that they wanted to be wrong in the first place. Only they didn't care about, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'd be like, damn, you know, you don't come back from that if a person has just been kind and helpful, and then you have no logical explanation for why you needed to be rude and disrespectful. And then when they gave you back, when they showed you the same type of love, they said, okay, well, I'm showing you positive love. All right. But you come negative. So now they come negative. And then what happens? Now what? Now, but then they be like, you know what? Sincerely, don't nothing need to be negative for real. Like it can go back to where it was, you know. But then you have the other party where, like, now they get their friends to try to get a negative. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's like, man, if you really want to smoke, just knock on my front door. You know,
say that, man.
Like real, like don't do no sucker type stuff, man. You know,
way too easy.
Like it's more peaceful ways to interact with people, you know. And I can't imagine living somewhere with my children and that's the type of example that I'm setting for my children, you know. And I don't need children to know what type of example I was set because I was a child myself and I was around examples that I don't follow today that were set by some of the adults around me.
Correct.
you know. But that's what I think of when I hear the word wisdom. So y'all let us know what y'all think when you hear the word wisdom. If you want to come up and let us know, the link is in the chat, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the definition for wisdom. Let's go ahead and bring this up on the screen. And man, we got wisdom. It is given to us in the noun form in two types of nouns. So we have wisdom, 1A, ability to discern inequalities and relationships, insight, like we exchange here on Cigar Sundays, insights. B, good sense, judgment. Use your good sense. You know, I remember Granddad saying, he ain't got no good sense. Generally accepted belief, 1C. 1D, accumulated philosophical or scientific learning, knowledge. It's that word that popped up, God. 2, a wise attitude, belief, or course of action. 3, the teachings of the ancient wise men. And then we have wisdom now 2. Oh man, we're gonna have to work through this one. A didactic.
Yeah, didactic book.
Didactic. Okay. A didactic book included in the Roman Catholic canon of the Old Testament and corresponding to the wisdom of Solomon in the Protestant Apocrypha.
It's one of those books that was taken out the Bible that they got a book of wisdom.
The Book of Wisdom. Took it on up out of there. Took it on up out of there. Nobody needs that. Clearly, definitely not in 26. You know, in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 2026.
Oh,
right?
God, that's funny.
Nobody needs wisdom. So let's head on over to the thesaurus. And then we see wisdom as an insight, science or science, prudence, and desirability. So let's look at insight, the ability to understand inequalities or relationships. We have insight, sensitivity, sagacity, sagacity.
Sagacity, yeah, that works. Sagacity, Sagacity.
Sega. Intellect, sagacity. I don't know. We're gonna have to come back to it. Intellect, discernment, perception, perceptivity, perceptiveness, understanding. We even got understanding in wisdom. Okay. Sapience, intelligence, brilliance.
Sagaciousness.
Sagaciousness. Okay.
So that got to be sagacity. If that's
Sagacity. Okay. Okay. All right. Wit, sense, perspicacity, acumen, astuteness, sage, power, comprehension, appreciation, acuity, penetration, percipience, judgment, prudence, brightness, sanity, clear-sightedness, judiciousness, grasp, foresight, logic, smartness, gray matter, mentality, cleverness, rationality, keenness, canniness, foresightedness, apprehension, reason, discrimination, braininess, having a brain, insight, wisdom as an insight. Then we have wisdom as in science, a body of facts learned by study or experience. Science, knowledge, expertise, law, information, data, evidence, facts, awareness, news, intelligence, literacy, learning, know. I know what I know now. Acquaintance, scholarship. I got the low on the skinny. Erudition.
Yep.
Okay. Lowdown. I got the lowdown on the skinny. Got the dope. The dope. That's dope. Okay. Familiarity and the know-how. Okay. Then we have wisdom as in prudence, the ability to make intelligent decisions, especially in everyday matters. Prudence, sense, wit, intelligence, discretion, insight, policy, brains, common sense, gumption, horse sense, sensibleness, level-headedness, logicality, judgment. What's that? Nous?
Noose. Let's go with Nouse. I don't like Noose.
Yeah, I want to go. I think you need an E in it for it to be a Nous. I don't know. I don't even. That's not even a word. I won't even know how to say. Okay, caution. Hey, discreetness, logicalness, foresight, practically sagacity. Is that where we going with that one?
Yeah.
All right. Rationality, foresightedness, discernment, farsightedness, gray matter, street smarts, acumen, shrewdness. I said it earlier.
Yeah, you did say perspicacity.
Yeah, I said it earlier. Astuteness, discrimination, sapience, circumspection, care, penetration, forethoughtfulness, forehandedness, precaution, clear-headedness, keenness, rationalness, and premeditation. All right, that's in prudence with wisdom. Then we have wisdom as in desirability, suitability for bringing about a desired result under the circumstances. Desirability, judiciousness, expediency, prudence, feasibility, advisability, advantageousness, expedience, desirableness, usefulness, practicality, advisableness, profitability, timeliness, beneficialness, opportuneness, and seasonableness. And those are the synonyms for insight. For wisdom. We got insight, science, prudence, and desirability. Any of these you want to tackle? I've seen a lot of stuff that we had in our meaning pop up in this.
Yeah, no, the thesaurus seems to be fits more in line with in our thinking, at least from what I'm hearing, from what I'm seeing on here, as far as the insight, the science, the prudence, and even the desirability. It's how we was thinking. The dictionary, there are some things in there that kind of threw me off.
Well, let's go back to it because we definitely want to chop it up and wrap and exchange insights about it. So we got wisdom, ability to discern inequalities and relationship, insight, good sense, generally accepted belief, accumulated philosophical or scientific learning, knowledge, a wise attitude, belief, or course of action, the teachings of ancient wise men, and a book that never made the Bible.
No, it made it.
No, it's
oh no, it wasn't the Bible. It wasn't the Bible. That was a different book.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm looking at this generally accepted belief, and that when I saw that, it made me think about just your scenario of why would they go by what somebody else said instead of formulating their own judgment based off what they see and having good sense, right? And the fact that that's there kind of threw me off a little bit, because it's like it allows for laziness,
The generally accepted belief.
right? Because if they already value this other person and this other person's words, then they don't have really a good reason not to trust their judgment about who you are.
Right.
So they come with that same energy because that's what they think they have to. Right.
For what though? Like, what's the point? Like, what are you trying to get out of that? Like, because if you want to fight me, if you're looking for a fight, then just step to me and just say, I want to fight you. Right.
Yeah. So that be throwing me off too, right? Because to us, it definitely be on some old, it gotta be, you want to fight me. But to them, they be on some old Chud the Builder, I'm just out here expressing myself type stuff.
It's like, but you breaking the rules. Like, you completely breaking the rules. So like,
that's why he's still locked up, right?
Yeah. Broke the rules.
But that's why he got copycats and all the Charlie Kirks of the world with the copycats, and people are acting like they want to fight to natural people, but in normal society, that is them just expressing themselves. Right. And I don't like that.
That is crazy, right?
I don't like that, God.
That's traumatic right there. You know?
Yeah.
That's traumatic. That's like, that's like, yeah, I got a plan anyway. I own some acres anyway.
Which is because the second part of your question was, how do they become the victim? And that's how they become the victim.
Right, but that's like that's like, you want to make yourself a victim?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna make myself a victim. You know what I'm saying? Like,
think about all the Karens.
That's stupid. That's the Karen. Yes. Talk about it.
Think about all the Karens that go too far, right? And they mess around and find out, right, before the police get there. And now they
you know what I'm saying? Now you need a coroner and everything else.
Now you're all loved up.
Or EMS.
Talk about, I don't care. You going to see, this is the thing. I don't care. You going to jail today. They all stuff. Talk about holding their face, holding their whole side of it, right? Talk about,
because what did you say about the happiness? What did you say about the happiness?
They just want to take away your happiness, God, because they are miserable. And this is the literal definition of misery loves company. And the reality is, that's why I say, man, personally, this is an Ali thing. I think the majority of people are walking around suicidal, right? They do not want to live. They're out here looking for the easiest way to die, and they don't want to do no work, man, because I think that's crazy. Like, to actually start a fight that you don't actually want to have.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what I'm saying? And I think it's crazier that we live in a society that will allow you to start a fight that you don't want to have. Right? Like, I think that's corny and sucker shit. I think that you shouldn't be allowed to throw rocks and hide your hand. I think if you throw a rock, you should be forced to hold your hand up, or your hand should automatically change color, so that everybody know that you threw the rock. You should stand on that shit.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, buddy.
I didn't want to fight. I was just expressing myself and just refusing to let him leave, and just, I
didn't. They were minding their business, and I just felt like that I needed somebody to pick on today. You know what I'm saying? I needed to stop them from minding their business and focus on me and give me some attention.
They was too happy, guys. Like, you're too happy, and Like that's what when people like we use haters, we use the word haters so much that and we apply it to so many different things and people that don't necessarily match or apply it. It's just flagrantly, we just too flippant with it. And we miss what hating actually is. And I say that because if we used it appropriately, right, I think it would be less Karens. Right. I think they would get lumped up way more often before the police got there and the people would run. Right. I think that if the U's and I's were allowed to proliferate and take over, there'd be a lot less Karens, there'd be a lot less people pointing their finger in your face, talking about I ain't touching you though. I ain't touching you though.
Yeah. Like you came all the way over here to point in my face to do something completely unproductive. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but if they can get
like,
you
that's
off
crazy.
If they can get you off the street, if they can get you out this world, if they can take away your happiness, right? Then their day was productive because they woke up with the thought of making somebody else's life miserable. I need to steal somebody's joy. Like this is what evilness look like. This is what hate. That's what I'm saying. Like
I swear, dude, God, because I don't wake. I be thankful for the day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like,
you know what I'm saying, God.
I'm
like,
disabled. Like I be like, I woke up today. Thank you.
and I can get out the bed.
And I can get out the bed today. Today's a good day. I'm gonna get some stuff done. I'm gonna beautify something. Like I spend time, in my youth, I was destructive. So that's why like people to be like, think there's this stigma like, oh, you joined the Coast Guard. And I always say to certain people, like, why I joined the Coast Guard, because I wanted to save lives. I already had enough war, before. And if we were, in a combat, situation, then I signed up, because we had 9/11, we had Iraq, we had a lot of stuff where, we got deployed and had stuff going on. So it's like, but I signed up for that though. But the majority of it was helping people, and when you look back at when you reflect on the knowledge and look at how you got there, and you had that choice that day, me and Nana V sitting there like, what you gonna do? Okay, because mama wasn't accepting no more crack money. All right, so you're gonna have to do something else, son. And I'm like, well, we got the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force,
Go Navy.
What you gonna do? One of them, because you go to college, come on, that's just an open market.
Facts.
In the 90s, in my mind,
nothing but customers.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm coming from a place where I know my care packages ain't gonna be looking like that. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna be on federal aid. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get it how I know how to get it.
Facts.
If I'm in school, I ain't got time to go cut no grass and shovel snow and rake leaves and do all that stuff I did as a jit. I'm gonna have to do the stuff I did. I'm in my brain. I'm thinking that, because it's easy. It was easy too. So no, like, I don't get it. I would never do that. I'm like, if anybody I meet now, when I meet folks now, it is about sharing something positive.
Facts.
And if all you're gonna do is come at me with negative, then I got to say shields. I got to cross my fingers and say shields.
Which is, to me, right, because staying away from you might also be a positive.
Yeah, staying away is definitely a positive for me. And
to me, like that's
it's definitely a positive for me, because You know, I'm tired of hearing voices in my daggone head. You know,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to leave room for other stuff. You know, the beautification of life, enjoying it while we got it. I think a lot of people forget that, you know, what happened to the wisdom of Scarface got this line in his song that say, a child is born. Is the mother crying because she happy, or the fact that she know that baby is born dying? And we forget that we are born to die, and everybody got an expiration date. So you should be trying to live your life with the most positive, with the most beneficial, learning things and trying to get stuff right. You know, not trying to cause chaos and barking up a tree that you don't know might be ready to just timber and fall. You know, that's crazy to me, but
it's a hell of a thing when you become the straw that broke the camel back.
You know. But yeah, y'all let us know what y'all think about the definition of the word wisdom. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our second question of tonight. What role does wisdom play in choosing friends, partners, and relationships?
So I think for all three, on a surface level, what it is that what is it that you want? What are you looking for from a friend, a partner, or out of this relationship? Right? Wisdom tells you that, and it allows you the time necessary to discern if this person has what you need or not. Right? If you're gonna waste your time or not. Right? If that's why I say, right, because you need the time to be able to sit on the porch and observe people, to observe the world, and process what's going on, where you are, right? So it can all make sense, right? So you can actually get a much better understanding and perspective. But too often, out of boredom and loneliness, people seek other people and they look for somebody to be fun with, right? And that's fine if that's what they are looking for. But too often we're not being honest with ourselves totally, and we only scratch our surface itch, and we don't actually go to that level, to the bone where it's actually itching at, right? And you gotta get on that wall and actually do that thing, because it's really up in there. And it just goes back to the laziness, right? If you want to have fun because you're bored, then you probably shouldn't look for this fun person for financial advice, or for for advice on going through something traumatic in your life, because they are a fun person. That's why you hooked up with them, right? If you forget that you actually chose to be around this particular person for their funness, and now use them as a ghetto therapist, you are now using them inappropriately, and you actually going to get what you pay for. You don't get a fun answer, right? Because you're talking to a fun person that you're asking them to be serious, and while they're going to do their best, right, their best may not be good enough for you, because they're not the right person to be asking this information in the first place. And it's not their fault, it's yours for not taking the time to actually observe yourself in time, place, and space, and actually figure out what it is that you need, and actually pluck those things out. So that's what I think. I think for all three of those things, wisdom is that time that you need to discern actually what you need from an actual individual.
No doubt, wisdom is the discernment when it comes to friends, partners, and relationships. I can dig it. Man, like I think it's that too. I think it's, you know, like I really do. Like I was, my word was that discernment that I was leaning towards as well. But just to say, you know, that final, the reasons, we'll go with the reasons from the knowledge that you had in your past. You know, like you used a really good example when you said asking someone who's a fun person. I've had an experience, and I always be sharing life experience. I had an experience with somebody, and they told me I was too serious. So I was like, that's crazy. Like, you know, because when we smoking and joking, I'm not too serious.
I'm fun, man.
Yeah, I'm fun then when we having a little taste carrying on, you know, but I'm just like, but I guess in that particular interaction, you know, in that engagement, you know, they said that I was too serious. They didn't want to work with me in that capacity because they said that I was too serious about it. I thought that it was just my passion radiating and wanting to be the, you know, the best version of myself in that environment, because I wasn't trying to take over anything, you know, that never was, I never presented anything that appeared for me to take over, you know, but I was sharing my factual knowledge, you know, I was sharing my wisdom.
Not even your opinions. It wasn't
Yeah, I wasn't.
wasn't even thinking out loud, guy. You was
Yeah, it was an opinion. It was I had this experience, you know, and this is the path that I think if we take this, then you won't have that experience.
Correct.
You know, because it was something that I actually dealt with. It was something that I actually troubleshooted and worked on and studied, and you know, and
something that you actually know.
Yeah, like I learned it. I learned it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like.
So I definitely think that that it's all of those things, even when it comes to like when we say relationships, that was broad, but we had partner up there, like even with my wife. I never and let me say this, I did compare my wife to exes, you know, and you know, and the thing that I compare, because so many people be like, you shouldn't compare, you shouldn't do this. And I'm like, I had to, because I had to make sure that she was everything that wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, I had to make sure that, and it wasn't like putting her through a series of tests or nothing foolish like that. It was actually going through, living, experiencing things, seeing her, how she reacts to things, seeing her, you know, because a lot of the situations were never the same because they're different people. Plus, when I grow, I know that I wasn't perfect in those relationships. I had things I needed to do too to be better. So I didn't get with my wife and bring that stuff with me.
Correct.
You know? So that was wisdom from that. And then like you said, that discernment, you know, the reason why I haven't had them problems, or those things that I felt, you know, caused problems or that were problems. It wasn't even a feeling, like they made me feel bad, but yeah, they caused problems, even my own actions. So and then when it come to friends, it's like you know, like when you spend a half a century on this planet, like you definitely know the difference between like who friends and who's just associates, who you cool with, you know. Um, and I mean, even though definitively friends and associates are the same thing, according to the definition, because we did a show on friends. Y'all go check that out.
Correct.
Um,
Learn something that day.
but the way that we socially refer to it, right, as just like, oh, I'm just cool with them. I don't funk with them like that. You know what I'm saying? But they cool. I'm just cool with them. Or like, that's just a coworker, right? That's just an associate. That's just this, or that's just that. But then they like, well, that's my friend. Somebody I'm willing to believe, even if they wrong, and I'm ready to go be wrong with them. Let's all just go jump off the bridge. So through those experiences, it made me develop shields. It made me go back to kids, like, shields. like nah, like you said, sitting and observing and watching, I've come to not pass judgment on people, even if I get a bad vibe initially, because I know I be tripping sometimes.
The bad vibe might have been mine.
It might have been me, right? But when I see people do when I see them do stuff, now it's like, oh nah, I won't tripping.
I wasn't tripping. That's no. That's you definitely somebody I don't want to be around.
You definitely somebody that the vibe was right. The energy field was like, this person ain't right here. They shady, they sneaky, they shisty. They don't have no integrity about themselves. And you'll get that vibe, but then you just be like, I might be tripping. I'm because I got too much integrity. I'm not committing no crime, so I don't have no reason to lie on nobody. So you're gonna get that energy from me because I'm gonna be truthful with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be so honest with you that you might not like it. And I'm not giving you no thoughts about it. I'm just talking about your actions. Because I could talk about mine. If I could tell on myself, then I could tell on you too. Especially if ain't nobody going to jail. I ain't in the street, so I ain't got no street code. And I ain't worried about what nobody think, because don't nobody pay my bills. So I would worry about that. I will care if somebody paid my bills. Yeah, like that would, if I was being took care of, then that person right there, every time I'm talking to them, they just like, but that's not the case. So I definitely think that that wisdom plays a role in all of that. And it is just unique to everyone's experience and how they apply it, if they're aware of it. Because I think a lot of people not aware. Remember, we saw wisdom saying a generally accepted belief. And because people will, just have a general accepted belief of no fact, it may cause them to do something foolish. So y'all let us know what y'all think role wisdom plays in choosing friends, partners, and relationships in the chat. And also, we got that link right there. And please smash that like button, y'all. We're going to go ahead and jump into our third question. How do you tell the difference between wisdom and something that sounds good?
It goes back to the last question, actually. And you have to be honest and with yourself and with the people that are around you and who they are, right? And really accept them for who they are, because can't value everybody the same. You can value everybody, right? Everybody has value, but you can't value everybody the same, right? And it goes back to, if you're going through something serious and you ask the fun person for resolution tips or courses of action, that will sound good, right? Versus if you actually ask a person that has either gone through this before, or somebody who's in the field, or somebody who has like real
some knowledge. Some knowledge of it. Why are you telling me about this? Because I have knowledge of it. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
the same way people snitch to the police, right? They have knowledge of the crime, right? That's how they are snitches, right? So if you go ahead, God.
And the person that you get, the person who has the knowledge, right? The actual experience, their information will not sound good, right? You're either going to accept it and do it, or discount it because it's too much work.
You said they either going to accept it and do it, or discount it because it's too much work.
Yeah.
So that then they get lazy. That's the lazy.
It starts and stops there, right? Because if asking the fun person is lazy,
the fun person is lazy.
No, not like asking the fun person about some serious stuff.
Right, asking the fun person
is a lazy thing to do.
Right, I get it.
Right, even though yes, you are making action. Yes, you are asking somebody. Yes, you are doing things, right? But they are non-productive, almost retrogradable, right? Like they make you go backwards, right? If not, stay stuck in the same place or make you go into a worse situation because it sounds good, and you might actually go crash out based off this sound good thing, or or go do a thing, right? You might go invest all in because it sounds good, right? But they don't actually have any knowledge to actually give you the necessary fear to temper your excitement, right? To give you expectation management. That's why I say with wisdom, it won't sound good. You'll either accept it and go do that, or you'll discard it and throw it away because it's gonna hit different, right? Somebody, you go into your math teacher about a math problem, or going to your economics professor about your budget, you're gonna get a much different answer than going to your art teacher about your budget.
You never know if the art teacher drive a Mercedes.
That's true. I just thought about that.
You might go ask the art teacher first, and before you go ask
I just thought about that.
Before you go ask the economics teacher, and the economics teacher could be in a Toyota, and they really the one that you should be asking, but you see the one with the Mercedes because you thinking because they got a Mercedes, they know something more about money than the person driving the Toyota, right? And
who took a
yeah, they just like, yeah, I can afford that if I wanted it, but I don't.
Oh, that's what he wanted today.
Yeah, I don't want it today. Like the Toyota suits me fine, and guess what? That extra maintenance, that extra insurance, that extra car note, that extra all that. Let me show you what to do with that.
Correct.
All
the money you're not spending right now.
So you can actually have some money work for you instead of you thinking that you have to go work for money to have that stuff.
See, and that information don't sound good. That's something I gotta go do. That's like, word, all right, bet. Or, man, I gotta do way too much stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that before, man. That sounds like a lot. But when you and I'm like, just start.
Just start. All right,
Just
that's all you
start.
gotta do is just start. Because
Just
once you
start.
start, you realize that. But when you start, you're gonna realize at some point that you're doing
Right?
it.
You're gonna see it grow. You're gonna
as
see
soon
your growth.
as soon as you start, you're
Yeah,
already doing it.
you're already doing it, right?
There you go.
Okay, so right now, y'all, we on our third question. How do you tell the difference between wisdom and something that sounds good? Oh man. Well, I know how I tell. Yeah, I know how I tell it. Um, I don't get confused because I always say you can learn from everyone. You know, I learn from everything, my environment, you know. I'm a big observation learner, you know. So like I said, like I've become that because, you know, before I used to pass judgment, you know, negatively because judgment is good. Okay. Because everybody want to get judged on judgment day and they wanted to go in their favor, right? Okay. So whether you in the courts or whether you in the court of heaven. Okay. So everybody talking about judge, don't be judgmental, don't be judgmental. Like, well, when we get to the end of the road, guess what happens? You know, if that's where your faith is, then you're gonna go through it anyway. All right. So you might as well get used to it because it's going down now anyway. So what I've done is I said, okay, well, don't be so judgmental. Be able to listen first and internalize it. Is this something of value? Because it may just sound good. I see different things, you know, all types of advertisements and stuff. Hey, buy this, spend this, you know, and do this and do that, and maybe you can go this and you can, you know, and it sounds fantastic. It sounds phenomenal. Hey, take a 5-day trip to Punta Cana, you know, or Cabo San Lucas, and you know, all expenses paid, and
All inclusive and
you
everything.
know, take a yacht ride around the Mediterranean. I'm like, I already did that and got paid for it. You know, spent too much time over there.
Way too
Right?
much time. I'm good over that on that.
You know, you know, so I'm just like, you know, you see that stuff and it sounds good. It even, you know, but it's like the wisdom says, where are your priorities at? What responsibilities do you have before you? You know, I can do that. I can say, you know what? Let me put this stuff on hold and let me go do that because it sounds good. I want to be there. I want to do that. Blah blah blah. But it's not worth me going to go do that and then come back and now I've taken what I need to manage my responsibilities, you know, and now I'm sitting around pouting about that. I'm sad about my trip. Dang, I knew I shouldn't have took the trip. I knew I shouldn't have did that. I knew I shouldn't have did it. And now the things that I really valued, and that goes into me saying like adding value. What the difference between the wisdom and the something that sound good? I've added value to the wisdom. The wisdom things have the most value. They sound good, and I'm able to discern the difference. The sound good stuff sound real good. People will be saying stuff to you. Hey, bro, you know you could do this, or you know you could do that. I had somebody call me the other day, God, about a business venture. Okay. And it started off real good. It sounded really good. Okay. And then they said, bro, I'm gonna be all the way transparent with you. As soon as they said that, like everything that they were saying up to then, the wisdom kicked in. and I had to communicate with them, you know, I'm not interested, bro. That's not I'm not interested in that. You know, you want temporary, you want a shortcut, you want a temporary win. I'm looking for long-term wins, and especially when it comes to my money, because guess what? Like we don't have to be on short-term wins. We don't have to be on that. There is a way, but do you think the way I listened to that person, that if I called them and was sitting down and was telling them about some investing things and you know and the economy and certain things, do you think they would listen? They wouldn't listen to me. Because soon as I said I wasn't interested, they gave the phone back to the person who called me. You know, because the person not gonna give nobody my number. They gonna call me because they already know, like, man, let me give them fools my number. You
Right.
know. But then I had to ask that person, like, why you calling me with that BS, man? You knew what they was on. All right, Pearl, let me hit you back. All right. You know? So that's where I get stuff like that constantly. You know, and I don't have no problem with investing in stuff and, you know, doing joint ventures and things like that with folks, man. And, you know, because I like to see people prosper. I like to see businesses. And that's what it's about. We supposed to own businesses. We should the tax thing. When I heard Donald Trump, President Donald Trump say, you know, I don't pay taxes because I'm smart. It sounded good. It didn't sound, you know, conflicted to me. It sounded good. I said, dang, I want to be that smart too. Because I know it's a tax on everything. If you buy some illegal drugs in the street, you paying more than what the person bought it for. So it's a tax on everything. Okay. So I'm saying the wisdom is telling me, since the knowledge is, man, you've been paying taxes your whole life since you've been working a job. Okay. From that knowledge, I did what? I said, well, let me learn some of these tax codes. Then we started a business and then we got deductions and things like that. So now that's the wisdom saying, like, why would I ever be involved in anything that's illegal, evading taxes, when I know how to legally minimize your tax bill? That's stupid. That would mean that's not wise
at all.
That would mean I'm actually abandoning all of the knowledge that I've been fortunate enough to have, fortunate enough to obtain, because I had to go get it. I had to go ask somebody. You know, I had to go do research. I had to read some things.
Yo, God, and none of that sounds good.
None of that sounds good.
The only part that you said that sounds good was the end when you said you paid and shit, right? Like, but like all of the research and go ask people, they blah, like that's why my man get a phone back. Like, man, I don't want to hit all this investment stuff, and I gotta. I remember my man told me that him and his family went on vacation, and how they only went on vacation once they saved up enough money. And he said they had $5,000 to go on vacation, and that was that $5,000 didn't include their plane fare, didn't include their hotel, right? That was their spending money and their food money just to be out there, right? And how everything was paid for. When he told me that, I started thinking about all the vacations I went on as a child and all the people I know that go on vacations, and how what you said, they regret the vacation because they robbed Peter to pay Paul in order to have some fun that they couldn't afford, right? So they took a long time paying off that fund, so that fund became less desirable where it is. My man said that him and his wife didn't go to restaurants, didn't go to the movies, they didn't spend no money. Like they actually sat down and made a plan and a decision, like a whole decision
They
to
made a what? They had
a plan and a decision
what?
to that they both they like they was all peanut butter and jelly sandwiches type things for lunch.
Peanut butter
Like
and jelly, baby.
like they was bare minimum low maintenance in it for 2 years, right? And that's how they was able to save up a whole lot of money to where they can do their investments to where you actually have enough to where you can invest, and that return on your investment is substantial enough to be like, damn, versus the little $10, and you get back the little, like, 'cause that's how people see it, a little $10 instead of that $10 that you add into, that's creating a bigger fund or whatever. But what that taught me was, if I can't pay off that whole vacation, if I can't afford it, I can't go, right? Because I don't want to hate my family for having fun.
I feel you on that, God. And you said a key word. You said afford. Something that sounds good, and I hate that they do this, is they say affordable housing. I hate that they market it like that.
Yeah.
Because that is such a disadvantage to homeowners when they think that they're getting something affordable, because they're limiting their thought process to making the payment every month.
Correct.
And not understanding, like, no, affordable is, can I take care of everything? The maintenance, the utilities, the taxes, because this stuff goes up constantly. And no realtor is telling you this when they trying to get their commission. No attorney is telling you this when you sitting down signing them closing papers.
Nope.
But everybody's getting their pay, they getting their little slice, and they know this information. Well, not all. I'm not going to put it on, because a realtor can be selling. You can be selling homes and live at home with your mom and daddy and never bought a house. Okay. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times most of the attorneys are homeowners. They know about the taxes. They know that they go up. They know about, home insurance goes up every year. They know that there's maintenance costs and things like that. If you don't have enough for your, if you where you can't call the landlord, there's a difference when you're an owner. When you renting, you can call landlord. Hey, this ain't working. You gotta come fix this. When you own, you are the landlord. So if you can't afford that, if you can't afford to be a landlord, then they should stop advertising that to people. And then we see them struggling to maintain, because now it's pride in a way. It's pride, like, damn. And I feel that, you know what I'm saying? I feel that way. It'd be like, it's pride, like, damn, I can't look like I'm losing, Instead of teaching, like, that's something that sound good, but my wisdom knows the difference, that nah, that ain't, like, that ain't the move. Struggling ain't never the move. And my knowledge is coming from growing up, being set out, losing storage bins. Okay. Understanding that you could be in the street, understanding that, now we ain't, mama ain't, Donna V ain't never had us in the street. Okay. But going through those situations, I had to learn it. I had to be like, okay. And then, even like I said, being deployed during my first deployment, because I left home and didn't know how to pay bills. I come back from my first deployment and my license stuff is turned off. So I'm like, these things be sounding good, but you know, but wisdom definitely let me know that you know,
Yo, the
just
dealer,
because it sounds good, that don't mean it's it.
yo, the car dealer told me that I was making my car note and my insurance with the same $300 payment. Right. And I was like, yo, I'm winning. And I was for that month.
For that month, right?
I came back from deployment. I had a car, but no insurance. I jumped on the road, and of course I wrecked. Cost me about $14,000 because when you don't have insurance, you get the bill. So they sent the bill to me. That's what happened. So listening to your story, I was like, yeah, you ain't never lied.
Damn, that's a
Cause
devil, right? Devil to make you get it right for sure.
That made me start reading contracts because I didn't read it. I just listened to what he said and it sounded good. Like I got paid. My car note was $300 a month, and I'm saying, and you telling me that's my car note and my insurance? Like bet. Like, we're not going to be happy about that, right? Like, but it made me start reading stuff, and because of that crash, because I had my seatbelt on, my life was saved, right? So it made me a seatbelt advocate, like a seatbelt warrior. Like even in the back seat, you got to buckle up, right? Or get out of my vehicle because I know for a fact that it do save lives.
That's right.
This one.
That's right. And we are very thankful that you had your seatbelt on that day, you know, because you wouldn't be here today with us. Who knows? Who knows? You might have survived it, but you know,
you never know.
We don't want to go through that. You know?
Hell no.
Hove did that. I don't know if Hove did it, but you know, Hove did that. We don't have to go through that for real. But yeah, in the back seat, man. Yeah, people do fly through the windshield from the back seat. So y'all buckle up out there, drive safe. Plus, it's the law. Okay, that's the worst thing.
$50 tickets for not, man. You
know, for real. So let us know, y'all, what y'all think. How do you tell the difference between wisdom and something that sounds good? We would like to know in the chat or the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. And make sure to smash that like button. Please, appreciate y'all. Love y'all for that. Going to our full question. Can a negative experience teach more wisdom than a positive one?
Can it? Eventually, yes. I think with the negative experiences, it requires you to accept that it is a negative experience. It requires you to acknowledge that you don't like the negative experience and that you want to change the negative experience. And that's 100% possible, but that might take a while, right? So based off of how long it might take for a negative to turn into a positive, the answer to the question is yes. The answer to the question is no. Like positives are always better because they're quicker, right? The things that you can learn from faster, you can grow from better, right? Like
you may be weird like that. I don't know. You know?
If you can absorb the nutrients like right away, God, I think you know.
I mean, in my experience, some people looking for negative experiences versus a positive one. Like, you know? Wow.
Yeah, like, yeah, just in how long it takes, you know, to acknowledge the negative. I would say that a positive experiences are better, right? I think the negative lessons would be more impactful right? Because once you do acknowledge and accept and decide that you want to change, I think your worldview would change. I think it's more impactful, but because of how long it takes, I still think that the positive lesson is better for wisdom than the negative one, just for the simple fact of the length. But impact wise, I think negative ones you learn more from, because if once you go through all the steps, I want to emphasize that once you go through all the steps, like they're engraved in you,
Okay.
right? Like the positive ones come like a light bulb, but the negative ones, once they're learned, like they're engraved.
Okay. Okay. Right now, y'all, we are on our fourth question. Can a negative experience teach more wisdom than a positive one? And the guy said the positive ones are preferred.
Hell yeah.
The negative ones, they should be engraved. In my insight, I think it just depends on the person. I really do. Because like I said, from my personal experience, I've seen people desire positive experiences, and I've seen people desire negative experiences, and I don't know what benefit other than like intentionally doing something negative. Like I think like if you committing crime, then it should be purposeful. If you committing crime, like you're gonna be a criminal, if you're gonna sell, illegal substances, then like don't do it to pay child support or your rent money. Get like Chapo or something, like have a go, because when you go, you're gonna go and do the time anyway. So you might as well be trying to, not petty hustle. I would say take that energy and now for real, not encouraging foolishness, but I would say take that energy into that positive, put that energy into a positive thing and say, you know what, I'm gonna put that same hustle, that same grind, that same determination, that same desire into this positive thing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep on going with it. And I don't care how it looked to other people or not. As long as I'm gonna keep on going, I know I'm gonna get something out of it. I know it's gonna be beneficial. I have a goal. Okay, I'm gonna make it win. So I do think it's the person. I think it's the because I think some people, like you said earlier, God, like some people, like I don't like to say people miserable. I know we say it. I know we use it colloquially, because it ties so close to misery loves company, and birds of a feather flock together type sayings, because I'd be like, if misery loves company, I just want to be left alone, So, but I'm weird for that because I'm not miserable enough to want company, right? But I don't get it either, God. Like it's weird to me, but I'm the weirdo. Okay, I'll be good. Al Yankovic over here, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. We good. So, my thought. Okay, so I just see people who desire negative, who desire to attract negative. They don't desire to attract positive. Some people desire to attract positive. Even where I put myself in the place of the wisdom with the negative and the positive, I say, I seek for positive stuff. I'm looking for that. My antennas are for the positive. Am I without flaw? No, I'm never without flaw. You know, do I strive to be better? Yes. But I can admit it. I don't try to Karen my flaw. You know? And I think because we have that, you know, and at first Karen was, you know, I guess a middle-aged white lady, or you know, but now I'm saying we got plenty of black Karens out here, you know,
because Karenism became normal, right? It became normal to expose and to get in people's faces and mind other people's business. It became normal to put yourself in harm's way.
It became normal to put yourself in harm's way, to antagonize, to put yourself in harm's way.
This that Chud guy is that same.
It's crazy.
It's all Karenism,
you know. And then if you call a black person, be like, "Oh, so you want to chud me, right?" Then now they offended though. You know,
they offended.
Now they offended, and don't even have the knowledge to be able to understand that, like, hold themselves accountable, like,
because they trying to chud you
to understand the correlation. You know,
yeah,
like in chud, that brother wasn't bothering nobody. He was at court for his child support thing, minding his business. Right? Chud walk up, blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. You in your yard, minding your business, doing your own thing. You know what I'm saying? like
what?
Like what? No, like what? You know?
Yeah.
Then you look like, okay, if somebody, you know, because in your mind, you like, okay, I guess somebody got something to say. So you give people an opportunity to say something. But it's, you know, it's nothing. It's bales of hay. It's tumbleweed quiet, you know? So it's just like, okay, how can I take you serious? Like, I can't even take you serious. I thought you wanted to fight or something. You know what I'm saying? So like
they do, but just like with the Chud, they want to be the victim. Right. So they out here starting fights that they want to be the victim of.
They want to throw the punch.
But they want to throw the punch.
But they don't want to land nothing.
They don't want to land it, but they want to
land nothing. They just want to throw it.
They want to swing and a miss. And
so you could bob. Yeah. So you could bob, and then you could come back. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? But you be like, you're not worth the swing.
Yeah.
Especially if you done been through it before and know that when you swing, you hit stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, like you don't know that. Like you don't know when I can accidentally swing and still hit.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But they don't. But they don't.
Big picture.
Nah, that's what I be saying. That's why I say suicidal, right? Because they don't be thinking that you're gonna swing hard enough to end them, right? They thinking that you know, while they holding their eye, putting their eye back in their forehead, man, you going to jail today. You going to jail today. That's all they can think about is taking away your happiness, right? Because it's not about doing anything but just taking away your happiness. And now they leaking all their life force away.
And then everybody else can give them pity. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But you never say what you did. You never say, I asked this person to punch me.
Correct. With all they might.
Because I was throwing blows.
Yeah, with venom and talk about their mama and spitting on them and doing all kinds of stuff.
That's crazy though.
No accountability, yeah.
No accountability. But yeah, y'all let us know, can a negative experience teach more wisdom than a positive one? And I mean, just closing out on it, I just think it depends on the person, God. You know, I do. I think I have a saying, you know, I think we have this saying here on Cigar Sundays, you know, like we don't take L's. You know, our L's are not losses. Our L's are learning lessons.
Facts.
So if it's a negative experience to me, I look at it as learning, and learning is fun to me. You know, I like learning about things. So even in what may appear to somebody else as a negative, to me, it's like, okay, I get to learn something. I get to gain more wisdom. And then with the positive things, yeah, like you're looking to, like you said, replicate that, to repeat, to rinse, wash, and repeat. You know, you want to, if you're challenged with the same task, or you're embarking on the same journey again, then, you know, you want your, that, what's that gospel song, order my steps. You want your steps in order.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you can reach your goal. You know, you can step to the platform, step up to that plateau that you're trying to reach. And yeah, and I think that's real wisdom right there, you know, getting to that understanding, to that goal. So y'all let us know what y'all think in the live chat or the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. And make sure y'all smash that like button. Pretty please, thank you, with sugar on top and a cherry and whipped cream and all that good stuff. However you want it on your cake. That's how we would like for the like. Thumbs up. All right. It helps us get this content in front of beautiful people like yourself and people who rocking with us. And don't forget to subscribe to DBCHEFTV, because we're giving away a hundo right now where gas is at. It's going up. I think they still dropping bombs over Baghdad. So it looked like it's just gonna keep on going up. It ain't coming down no time soon. But y'all know what time it is, y'all. We're gonna jump into the flavor bombs.
Flavor Bombs, presented to you by DBCHEFTV.
Okay, so first we're gonna head to the Shy, and we're gonna send some love and condolences. R.I.P. Southside Chicago. Isaac Chef Wavy Bradley, man, tragic story. We're gonna go and check that out. And then we got Cassie news. Cassie is in the news again. Everybody know the Diddy case. Cassie was one of the victims. And Cassie has moved out of the United States to another country. So we're gonna go check on a story on that. And then we're going to head to Colombia. South Carolina, and it was a young man, 14 years old, young brother shot leaving a store, and the owner of the store was found not guilty. So we're gonna go look at that and exchange some insights and analyze and all that stuff, and rock out with us, y'all. And y'all let us know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget that the link also is in the comments in the chat if you want to if y'all want to pop up and exchange insights with us.
Many knew him as Chef Wavy, but for 44-year-old Isaac Bradley, his job came second to his role as dad.
Wavy, Chef Wavy was not just Chef Wavy. He was dad, he was brother, he was still my friend.
Bradley leaves behind a 16-year-old son.
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. This is very senseless. It doesn't make sense to me.
He'd spearheaded multiple restaurants with partner Eric Rico Nance, including Stussie's Diner, Lighthouse Whole Food Grill, and Chemistry.
And we are so thankful to have the little piece that God gave us of him while we were upon this world, upon this earth. 10 to 12 years of friendship, of brotherhood, of partnership. He's changed and touched all of our lives.
Bradley was one of 2 people shot and killed in a mass shooting in back of the yards early this morning. His family says he'd stopped by someone's home to cut their hair, a side hustle he had.
That's what he did. Like, he was tired. He went to go cut someone's hair, and this happened.
The shooting just before midnight on the 5100 block of Southwood. Another man was shot and killed. 5 others, including 3 men and a woman, were wounded and are recovering. Their ages ranging from 21 to 54 years old. Police tell us 2 armed men are responsible, saying they approached a group of people standing outside and started firing.
Oh my gosh. I can really use one of his speeches about forgiveness because I get like things happen. I get nothing is in our plan. You know, plans get monkey wrenches thrown in them all the time. But he used to always talk to me about that. And I don't see it right now.
There is a $10,000 reward posted by the Cook County Crime Stoppers for anyone that has information that could help lead to an arrest in this investigation.
What you think, God?
Rest in power to the God. Condolences to the family. You know, this, you know, I, you know, because my sister was on the TV, I could understand her even thinking about the word forgiveness. Because we on TV. But I saw what I saw, and you know, I don't know, man. Like it's like this world is upside down, and you don't. That's why I said we gotta support our interests and live, because you never know when you're gonna check out. You never know when you're gonna be doing, being in your lane, minding your business, and somebody else's actions interfere with you, right? And
somebody want to ruin your happiness, right?
Somebody want to ruin your happiness, and for no other reason than because they. That's what I'm saying, man. Like that's and it's only not only, but they offering 10 bands for information, and I don't know. That just don't seem like enough to make somebody call Crime Stoppers. At the same time, I don't know where that money come from to even say if it might not be everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's just rest in power, man. That shit is crazy.
I know it's senseless. And the brother was an entrepreneur, you seen his partner, and they had restaurants and stuff like that. He was taking care of his son, a father, a brother, somebody uncle. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it either. But they say he was cutting hair. He was still
he was on the side hustle. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got and I cut hair too. Like, that don't sound like the person who's trying to trap and hide their hand, who trying to act like they doing something, but really they over here wiggling in the shadows, right? And like the sister said, it's difficult. She said she would like to hear one of them.
She said she need one of those forgiveness speeches right now, because she ain't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? She ain't got it right now. She needs.
And it's crazy because it's death, because death is final.
Yeah.
Death is final. And that's, that's why I say, like, if ain't nobody die, then
we can forgive.
Then we can forgive, right? If ain't nobody die, we can forgive, unless you just evil.
Correct.
Unless you just evil. And then if you just evil, shields.
Yeah.
Because, I got Tyler energy. I want to cut the head off the snake.
Yeah.
So nobody else have to get bit.
Yeah.
But rest in peace to Chef Wavy. Love and condolences to the family. And try to find it, y'all. Try to find some type of forgiveness, and hopefully law enforcement does their job correctly, and the senseless shooters are brought to justice.
Cassie Ventura is starting a new chapter abroad. According to newly filed court documents obtained by E! News on June 3rd, Cassie reveals that she no longer lives in the United States. The filing is part of an ongoing legal dispute involving a lawsuit filed by Clayton Howard, a former male escort who participated in so-called freak-offs with Cassie and Sean Diddy Combs. In the document, Cassie, who shares 3 kids with husband Alex Fine, states that while she is a U.S. citizen, she is not a resident of the state of California, adding, "I reside outside of the United States. I do not intend to move back to the United States." Because of this, Cassie notes in the filing that if the case moves forward, it would be much more convenient for her to participate in New York, where her attorneys are based, rather than California, where no parties to this action reside. E! News has reached out to Cassie's rep for comment, but has not yet heard back. In a motion to dismiss Howard's lawsuit filed by Cassie's legal team on May 1st and obtained by E! News June 1st, the document calls Howard's current lawsuit baseless. The update comes after Cassie testified in the federal case against Diddy in 2025.
Yeah, that's crazy right there. Cassie got that 30 million and got up out of here.
Correct. That's all I got.
She got that 30 million and got up out of here.
Yeah.
Before we move to the next one, I think it's corny that the SCX worker is trying to sue her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's so corny.
I think it's corny that I do too. I think if he had anything to say, he should have been saying it before.
Yeah, and he should sue Puff. You know, right. He should sue Puff if he gonna sue anybody.
That's probably why Puff is in jail, because of him though. Like I don't think no new person just get to come up.
There's a lot of reasons why Puff is in jail right now.
No. But what I'm saying is, I think those escort guys, I think they all testified and.
Oh, of course they did.
Yeah, so I think they all got paid. Like I think whatever
they all wrote statements. I'm sure they did.
Whatever they got is what they got.
Yeah, especially if they were on videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Federal investigators went to them and was just like, because they got Cassie to testify and they got what's her name? Daphne Joy, 50 Cent's son's mother. You know, they got her to they probably got her statements and stuff like that too, or whatever. So
you know, to me, what makes it corny, guy, because what he gonna say now is that she's a liar about something, or she's not trustworthy, she's this, she's that, and it's like you said at the beginning, she got the 30 million and got up out of there. So even if she is a liar, and even if everything that he is saying is true, it kind of don't matter now, right? Like whatever he could be, whatever his beef is, like it kind of just really don't matter, and it just looked like he just trying to come up with some more money, just the same way she did. He trying to pull her move.
He trying to pull move on her.
But you know, it's crazy because he's a real life band, right? Who's realizing that he's a man, right? He can't act like a female and do female things and expect to get female. Can't get that 30 million, my man. Like they're not seeing you as the victim sex worker for real.
I'm not calling him a man based on his activity because I
called him a band at first.
A band, band, yeah. I think he's a band too. Yeah, I think he's a band. He's a whole band.
But he's realized like the uphill battle that he's gonna face is the reality that men go through when you're trying to fight back against I'm using the word fight back, right? I'm saying that he's a victim in this and that he has a case. I don't know, right?
No. He was a SCX worker. You know, he got paid.
Immunity and everything.
And he got paid for his services.
Correct.
So it's like now you want to sue? Like Cassie got beat up, was in an abusive relationship with Puff for years, you know, and was turning all types of freak off things into, you know, it's people who don't even think that she deserved the 30 million, you know. So
that's true.
You know, so I mean, so it's looked at some, but for him to be coming with a case, it's like, come on, family, like, you know, like you couldn't find any other way to troll or to capitalize. Let me just say it, to capitalize on this. You wanted your name, but your name is in public now, so you don't have nothing. You can't do a podcast. You can't get some gigs or something. You know, get your OnlyFans popping or something. The Cassie.
Nah, that's OnlyFans is work. All the other stuff is work. Probably can't get no more money off of Diddy, right? So that's a dry well. So the only other well exists is sitting on 30 million at least, right? Like the rest of the like that cat trying not to work no more. Like I'm saying, he's trying to be,
and he's probably looking for a settlement too. I don't even think. He probably want her to throw him like off him like a meal or two.
Yeah, he want to be kept.
Yeah,
you want to be kept, right? You want to have his feet up and be prissy all day and shit. I mean,
that's crazy. But shout out to Cassie and her family for moving on, and love to them. You know, we wish you nothing but beautiful things and blessings.
After nearly 8 hours, the jury unanimously reaching that not guilty verdict. Rick Chow has been behind bars for 3 years while this case worked its way through the courts, and tonight he walks free. Cyrus Carmack Belton was 14 years old on Memorial Day weekend in 2023 when he went into Chow's Shell station on Park Lane Road in Columbia and was accused of stealing 4 bottles of water. Chow and his son Andy chased the teen more than 130 yards down Springtree Road before Rick Chow fired one shot, hitting Cyrus fatally in the back. Now, the defense argued Cyrus pointed a gun at Andy Chow and that Rick fired to save his son's life. Prosecutors countered that because the bullet hit Cyrus in the lower back. It proved he was running away when that shot was fired. Now, 4 eyewitnesses testified they never saw Cyrus raise a weapon. And during deliberations today, jurors came back into the courtroom to ask Judge Heath Taylor to walk them through the definition of malice and the difference between expressed and inferred malice before returning to the deliberation room and reaching this verdict once again after 8 hours. Now, it is worth noting back in November of 2025, a judge denied Chow immunity under South Carolina's Stand Your Ground law and denied him bail, ruling he was a danger to the community and a flight risk. That ruling did not stop this jury from ultimately finding him not guilty. The Belton family's attorney, Todd Rutherford, says the system failed tonight and the verdict cannot be understood. Chow's defense says although it's a difficult decision, it was the correct decision and sent their condolences to the family.
It's tragic. I feel sorry for the family. As I said during my opening statement, my heart goes out to them, but 14-year-old kids should not be roaming the streets of Columbia or South Carolina with semi-automatic pistols loaded and ready to fire.
What's clear is that black people in 2026 have a long way to go. The question kept coming up, why does a 14-year-old need a gun? The question was answered when he was shot dead in the streets 130 yards from a store where he did absolutely nothing wrong. The question was answered when this jury found him not guilty today.
Okay. So before we go into the video, because now what we're going to do is we're going to watch the video. Tried to piece this together. They had it, chopped up in different things, got it from the court case. But let's go into that first. So here's him going in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. He put all 4 of them back. Now he grab his backpack and get on up out of there. And that's where we seen them chasing him out the store. Okay. So, what you got, God? First thoughts?
F the Childs, right?
F the Childs.
Mother, father, and son. That establishment should be uninsurable. They should be uninsurable. Anybody with the last name Child should be uninsurable, right?
Anybody with the last name Child.
change your name, son. F out of here, right? The second thought is this show. What you and me are doing, guys. Cigar Sundays, where we sit, define, analyze these words, right? Because what did the jury come back and ask, right? They needed the definition of this word because they all had a different meaning for the word murder,
right? Or
right?
Malicious.
No, but his charge was murder.
Well, yeah, okay.
And for murder, it got to be malice. It got to be. That's why
malice.
That's what they was looking for. What does malice mean?
Right. What's the definition of malice?
What the definition? And somehow those jurors came back and said that it wasn't malice, right? And they want to stick on the fact that this young brother had a firearm on him, and I'm saying he got shot in his back though. So even if he had the firearm on him, he couldn't see him pointing the gun at his son, or his son couldn't see the gun at him. Like if he got shot in his back,
he was running away.
He was running away, right? So the fact that they looked at him getting shot in the back as being less informative than the fact that he had a gun. They focused more. What did the lawyer say? No 14-year-old boy should be roaming the streets with a semi-automatic firearm. Like that
I agree with that though.
Yeah, but that was the whole point. Like I'm saying, that's something.
Not for the conviction though. That's foolish.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's something.
But the baby shouldn't have no guns though. They shouldn't need it.
I don't even care about that. Like that's not even admissible in court, as far as I'm concerned. Like the fact that you bringing that up is like that's non-cipher, right? Like that's something that doesn't matter. Why? Because his gun matters if he got shot in his chest or his stomach or in his stomach, right?
Yeah.
Like the fact that
if he licked the shot at them,
yo, God, like the fact that like they rolled him, they rolled the God over, right, back and forth. Right, like to the point to where my man had the God blood on him. Right, I watched one of the witnesses that was sitting in the vehicle, and she was like the child cat like had blood on him, like he got shot.
Mm-hmm.
Right, come to find out, like they was rolling shorty over back and forth to check to see what they had did to make sure. Right, as far as I'm concerned. Like how do I know that they didn't put that gun in? Right? How do I know they didn't grab it from his waist or grab it from wherever it was and put it to where it's reachable now in this scene where it looks like, and we gonna just tell a story. Like they got
like they had a throwaway on them and they planted it on them.
Even if it wasn't a throwaway, even if it was his, but it was just some place where he couldn't get it in that time. But they put it in a more convenient location to where it's like, nah, it was reachable. Right? Like they show like the moms, right? Like literally they took his phones, they took everything, they literally went through one man's pockets. And I'm saying, like, how does anybody can have knowledge of somebody going through their pockets and not think that scene is tainted? Man, if your last name is Child, change it.
If your last name is Child, get it replaced.
Get it replaced.
Man, it's just such a tragic story. And this is why I say that as Black people, we need to love on each other better. We need to not antagonize each other and look for negative, because it's already weapons formed against us collectively just for wearing this skin. We seen this young brother right here. We just watched him open up the case, take out 4 and put 4 back. They said allegedly that he stole 4 bottles of water. If we looked at the tape and could see that he stole 4, that we could see that he ain't steal nothing, then why couldn't they just look at the tape to say, we're going to call the police, if it's even need to call the police? So, this is a tragic situation, but
he walked out that store, God, like it was just a regular day, like him just leaving the store. Like he ain't walk out that store like he just stole water or stole anything. He didn't walk out that store.
I can't say that though, God. I'm not gonna analyze that far. You know why? Because I've stolen out of a store before in my youth and walked out smooth. You know what I'm saying? So there is no look for if you looking hot or not. If you know how to steal, then you can go in and steal some shit and you can move up out of there and you ain't gonna look hot. So like I can't digest that. I'm just looking at he walked out the store.
You know why? No, I don't jack that though, because if they was on you from the time you was in the store and the whole time you was in the store and now you leaving the store, you're gonna at least look back to see if you good to go. Like my man didn't even look.
He did outside when he took off running. He looked back and then he took off running when they came back.
When they came out, he looked back, but he walked out the store. He didn't walk out the store. I didn't see him walk out the store looking like he.
So he ran because he got a gun and he not supposed to have a gun at 14. So I understand why he ran. He ran because if they would have called the police, so let's just go with the narrative.
You talking about okay.
All right, let's go with the narrative. The narrative is they saying he had a gun. So when he left out the store, I know he didn't run because he stole something. I clearly watched him, the young brother, not steal nothing. Okay. I don't care how he walked out the store, whether he walked out smooth or he looked like a crackhead or he walked out yelling at folks talking about, y'all ain't gonna touch me, blah, blah, blah. None of that. I don't care. When he left out that store, he took off running. I think I put myself as a 14-year-old who toted pistols. Okay.
Can't talk to no police right now.
I can't, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna get in trouble with my parents. All right. And I know I ain't supposed to have this gun on me because you got to at least be 18. Okay. So that's why I believe he ran. Now,
I agree with that.
But them shooting him in the back, ain't no justification for that, man. But like I said, like Black lives don't matter. The only way they're gonna start mattering is when we start treating each other with more respect. Each other. That's when they can matter. Because it's gonna be some people that say that's gonna have a different opinion. That's gonna have a child last name and they're gonna have a complexion and they're gonna be like, well, why he ain't do this or why he ain't do that? Why he ain't steal nothing. The video shows he ain't steal nothing.
Correct.
So it wasn't no reason for him to get shot in the back for not stealing anything.
Yeah, you know what I also didn't like? The fact that he only got the one charge, the murder, right? There was no follow-up manslaughter or second degree or none of that stuff. There was no lesser charges. It was just the one, you purposefully, because you hate black people, killed this young boy. And it's like, because that's what I gathered from the question of what does malice mean, right? From the juror, like, and they was like, you know, we got to prove that he did this because he hate black people, or because he hate this or he hate that, and because we can't prove that, then we got to let him go based off the law.
I'm like, you can't shoot somebody in your house in the back.
You cannot.
You know, so like if somebody come in your house, you can't shoot them in the back. So I don't know how you could shoot other than you just shoot a black. And then that's it. Because that's what I'm saying. Black lives don't matter, you know?
Because you can't even shoot nobody in your house in the back.
You can't even shoot nobody in the house in the back. So I don't, so that's why I'm just like, the only thing that I can express is we gotta love on each other better. Not antagonize, not be jealous, not be full of hate, not be full of this and that and foolishness, you know, because they don't have no problem when we kill each other.
They appreciate it.
But then when somebody else kill us, guess what happened? He get to go home and do his own thing. He might not have that store, but you think he ain't gonna be able to open up another store?
Yeah, that's why I said uninsurable, right? Because I saw something where the store got burned down or something like that. I'm like, but that's just insurance money.
Dang, yeah, like that's why I'm like, that's food. Y'all just help him cash out.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we gonna burn the store down. Okay, well, now he just cashed out. So you just put money in his pocket. It's not wise.
Correct.
It's not wise. There's also this narrative down before we close out on this, that now black people, I saw Godfrey, the comedian Godfrey, talking about this, that now, you know, people should boycott all Asian establishments and different things and stuff like that. And I'm just like, that black people coming together to do one thing, like that sound good, but I don't think people are going to care. I think it's just going to be so many people who just like, well, he shouldn't have went into the store. He shouldn't have did this. He shouldn't have did that.
Shouldn't have had a gun.
You know, they're going to overlook the fact of he didn't steal nothing and he got shot in his back. Correct.
Two things that should be monumental. And yeah, like he's a what they call that joint, a serial shooter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to Reese. Reese, what's up? Said this is not his first time shooting somebody, and it's not his first time shooting somebody.
Yeah.
You know. Shout out YC9703.
It's crazy, God, like, yeah.
Shout out Lovely ATV. What up, bud? Yeah. Sad story. Condolences to the family of the young man, you know, and where's Ben Crump when you need him? You know, it won't bring the young brother back, but he usually get you know, get everybody a little bit of compensation, you know, to I can't even say to ease the pain, man. Ain't no way you can ease the pain. You lose your loved one, you know. But sad story. Love and condolences to the family. And once again, y'all, we gotta love on each other better, you know, because that is just a clear example of Black lives not mattering at all, especially for that to go down like that. And they just want to know. They want to know the definition of malice. It's crazy. Crazy, man.
You've just been Flavor Bomb, and now back to our show.
Crazy. But yeah, y'all. So we've been smoking on wisdom tonight. Make sure to smash that like button, y'all, and share the content. Also, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Links in the description to merch, literature, and more. We are at our fifth and final question of the day. Is the word wisdom bad, good, or misunderstood? Let us know what you think in the live chat or the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. The God Ali Dawood El, the BK Soul Farm.
For me, and based off what I learned, wisdom is still good. I did have that one unreadiness, but it was outshadowed by everything else, right? And when you go to the thesaurus and you look at how it's colloquially used, I guess, throughout America in the different forms of how it's used, I'm a fan of the work that's required to make good judgments, right? To make better choices, to be the best version of myself, right? So I didn't see any confusion in any of that stuff. I saw things needed to get done, and I'm not afraid to do things. So for me, this is all good.
No doubt. I think it's good and misunderstood. Yeah, I think it's good for in general. Like, I mean, like we started from the beginning when you said, like, thinking of an elder being able to pass down that knowledge from that wisdom, those experiences, and being able to say, hey, you know, you'll probably have more success if you do this, or you know, or I went through that and this is what my difficulties were, so maybe that'll help you not have to go through those difficulties. You know, that experience, it helps with discernment for even yourself as you learn, and like we spoke of tonight, with friends, partners, and relationships, and how you move forward with people, and how you accept new people into your life, and how you socially interact with folks too. So and the misunderstanding of it is just because there's so many meanings.
Yeah.
Once again, that that wisdom isn't respected. Like that saying, you could learn a lot from a dummy, right? But a person would just stop at no, they're dumb, and then everybody will agree that part you had a difficulty with, that you know, that part, what was it, a generally accepted belief.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody will think that, but none of the people have the wisdom from their own experiences, from their own knowledge, to say that was your experience. That don't have to be my experience with that same person or that same thing. And when people will allow themselves to be put in boxes, you know, it negates wisdom. It looks like that's not wise. So yeah, so definitely I'm rocking with good and misunderstood for wisdom. And tonight, y'all, we have been smoking on wisdom. We had our first question: what do you think of when you hear the word wisdom? 2, what role does wisdom play in choosing friends, partners, and relationships? 3, how do you tell the difference between wisdom and something that sounds good? 4, can a negative experience teach more wisdom than a positive one? And our 5th question, which we just got finished exchanging insights on, is the word wisdom bad, good, or misunderstood? Y'all let us know what you think in the comment sections below. And we want to thank everybody for rocking out with us, pulling up, hanging out with us, and leaving comments in the chat. Lovely ATV, YC 9703, and we got Reese Shannon 7553 up in there too. We want to thank all y'all for pulling up and showing some love. Y'all, please make sure to smash that like button, and don't forget links in the description for everything that we got going on. And we want all of you to have a peaceful, positive, and productive start to your week. It is the summertime, y'all. Stay hydrated, and stay motivated.
Word.
You know, to do positive, to do good, to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. And like the God always say, support your interests and live. I'm Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always with the God Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Until next time, peace, God.
Peace, God.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016, 160 self-sustainability. Jump on the list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then brunch with the fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude. At Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. You are the key to your financial freedom, so unlock your inner wealth with financial fundamentals at Bows on the Table. Subscribe today and never miss a meal at Bows Podcast. Bows on the Table, now streaming on YouTube. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at DBCHEFTV.com.